All right, welcome on into Cougar Tracks Game Day. Alex Kirry, Dave Noriega, breaking down our predictions before the game. BYU's loss in Maryland at FedEx Field to West Virginia, 35-32, another heartbreaker at the end of the game. This time the 2-minute offense comes up short on two separate drives. One was a bonus drive that they were sort of gifted there at the end, but two interceptions ending those last two drives, Dave, and they fall 35-32. And boy, should we just jump into these predictions, or do you want to go over? Do you want to pull that scab off that we had just healed over for a little bit?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
All right. So
I don't want to have any conversation because I know I'm going to have hours of conversation at church tomorrow. And I'm not looking forward to.
All right.
What's up? I mean, Taysom, 3 interceptions? I mean, what happened there?
BYU, dude. I thought he was the future. All right. So, predictions as we threw it out there.
Sorry to my entire Ward family and all my actual family and extended family for being a jerk tomorrow.
Also, don't talk to me. But let's start things off with the prediction game here, Dave. We've been both doing very poorly this year. The offense for BYU was supposed to break out this week, and they kind of did. And I also had a breakout performance. So the 50-50 that you asked me was?
I wanted to know whether Tanner was going to get in the game or not.
And the answer from me was no. At one point, he was actually warming up.
It was scary.
And Taysom ran off the field.
Yes.
Taysom ran off the field. Were you kind of going, huh? I could.
Okay. A quick break from the prediction game. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick no.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you're a quarterback, don't ever try to recover a fumble. Ever. Don't ever try to recover a fumble because you're just going to get hurt, and that's exactly what Taysom did.
Yeah.
He saw the ball, he saw the rock, and he's like, I'm going to jump on it. No, ever. And no to,
also to what?
Jamaal Williams fumbling. That guy hasn't ever fumbled, and he picks this game to do it?
Yeah, I was rewatching the national championship between Texas and USC from 2006, and Lendale White fumbles on one of the last drives for USC. Never fumbled his whole career. National championship in the Rose Bowl, he decides to do it. But Jamaal gives up his first fumble. It's his first giveaway. He had 2 other fumbles, but he landed on himself. But a fumble by Jamaal Williams. I mean, how many times during the year were people going to say, he's never fumbled in his career that he ever gave up, until somebody finally goes, all right, he did it. So,
all right, what was my 50-50?
Your 50-50 was Butch Pau'u versus the field. Was he going to lead the team in tackles this week, or would somebody else on the team, anybody else on the team? How'd you do?
I mean, I don't want to say I did horribly, but I didn't. I didn't do well. I'm not proud of it. I got a little big for my britches. Yeah. I got a little aggressive. Butch got a little dinged up and only ended up with 5 tackles. Fred Warner finished with 14 to lead the team, so not good for me.
Well, and I'll tell you too, you should have listened to Uncle Alex before this one, who said this type of a defensive setup means that the middle linebacker usually doesn't get as much work, and that's exactly what happened today. And then I predicted on the defensive side of things. You asked me how many yards BYU's defense would give up on the day. I said 391. You thought I was crazy. West Virginia came into this game averaging about 550 yards a game. They ended up with 481 on the day, so I end up 90 yards short on the prediction there, but I still think it was a point well made, which was they're probably going to get a lot more yards than most people would have thought. And I just couldn't believe how Skylar Howard was placing those balls long balls into people's hands from long distance. And to contrast that, Dave, there were times when BYU wide receivers, Alefa Hifo, wide open,
Mitchell Juergens,
wide open, and it just wasn't placed in the right spot.
Whoa. Well, are you putting those drops on the passer?
No, there were a couple of drops, but there were also some long balls that did not end up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking of a specific touchdown.
No, there could
have been there.
There were several balls that were completely and totally overthrown.
So different week, same.
But the interceptions, I would say only one of the 3 interceptions I'd really put on the.
No, Hifo should have reeled in that last one. Hifo's
got to come in with that third one,
yep.
and Mitchell Juergens, 2 hands on it. You got to come up with that.
And then finally, our score predictions.
No.
No?
Jamaal for me.
Oh yeah.
How'd
you do with Jamaal Williams? Your prediction before the game was 20 rushes
for
125 yards.
Nailed it. And you're like, do you realize that's like 7 yards a carry that you're predicting? 6.5, 7 yards a carry? I'm like, yeah, because I said 20 attempts, 125 yards, and you big old eye rolled me. Big old eye rolled me.
I didn't eye roll you. I just thought that was...
You thought it was optimistic.
After the last couple of games...
What did he finish with?
24 carries, 169 yards. He had 100 yards.
Shot it, baby.
He had 100 yards by the end of the first quarter. So
I was looking at it, I'm like, 20 carries, 125 yards in the first half. That's what I meant.
I was hoping he was going to end the game with like 290 yards rushing, and you'd have to get a D because your guessing was so bad. All right, and finally the scores. Maybe I wanted to get to this one rather quickly.
Well, let's do mine, and then we'll do your big, stupid grand finale.
All right, so,
I said 24-21 win for BYU because it would be a season high in points allowed and points scored. And I didn't do well. Number one, they lost. That's not a good guess any way you look at it. And I was, a couple touchdowns off.
You did the thing that every coach actually wants, which was get your team to at least 24 points. And with a team that was offensively struggling, you thought, okay, get to 24. You hadn't even been into the 20s yet. Get there, and then keep your defense rolling. And they couldn't keep West Virginia. They could not get stops until later on in the game. And then
I'll give you this.
What?
So your guess. I'm gonna give a little drum roll. This was your guess. Number one, you big rainy day wet blanket. Score prediction from you. But go ahead.
Okay, so I was the guy who said that West Virginia would win the game, and I put West Virginia with the W today, 34-31 over BYU.
You're a whole point off on each team, though. 35.
But see, the way
35-32 was the final. I mean, you were 1 point off on each side.
The way the schoolmaster has been scoring this subjective scoring, I'll probably still get like a B- or something.
Don't blame Tim.
This is an A+.
Don't blame Tim.
This is a big A+.
You make better predictions and you'll get better grades.
All right. So BYU.
You know what?
What?
You nailed it. Now, I'm not saying you get an A+, but definitely an A. If you get anything less than an A, you need to go talk to the teacher.
Okay, so the reaction, of course,
wet
during
blanket.
Yeah, the reaction during, even before, and then after the game, of course, still people saying there's got to be a quarterback change. But Taysom Hill's numbers at the end of the day: 23 for 35, 241 yards, the 2 touchdowns, but the 3 picks that made all the difference. BYU ends with 521 yards of offense. Can't get the win in Landover, Maryland. That's your final, 35-32. BYU falls to West Virginia, goes to 1-3 on the season. Dave, happy picking for next week. Toledo at home with BYU. We'll see you then for Cougar Tracks Game Day. I'm Alex Kirry. He's Dave Noriega.